Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about team building. As Let Fours, you guys are going to be responsible for the leadership, or you guys are responsible for the leadership of this battalion. You guys are the company commanders. You guys may be the first sergeants. You are the guys that all the 1s, 2s, and 3s look up to. So that is a pretty high standard you guys are going to have to live to this year. As I tell my Let Fours every year, when you're a Let 1, I expect you to make mistakes. When you're a Let 2, I expect you to make fewer mistakes. When you're a Let 3, I expect you to make very, very few mistakes. As a Let 4, at this point, you guys should not be making any mistakes. You guys should never miss a uniform day. You guys should never be changing out of uniforms, because y'all are that example that everybody else is looking for. And as you guys have seen from past years, if one of you guys change out of a uniform or whatever, everybody else is real quick to dime you out because they're looking at you guys to set that example. So we're going to talk about team building over this next chapter. And I'm going to start off with motivating others. How do you motivate other people? Your essential question is, how will I motivate my teammates? Think about whether you would prefer to be asked or told to do something. Which would you guys rather have done? Would you rather have somebody go, hey, go do this, or would you mind doing this? Now, understand that when you are asked does not necessarily mean you really have that option. All right. It would be good that you want to do it anyway, but it doesn't mean you have to be asked. I mean, it doesn't mean you really have that option to not do it. Okay. You want to motivate your people to want to do something for you. We're going to talk about some of that. How do I motivate people to want to do things that I need to have done? Well, we are absolutely not doing the pushing demonstration. Let's say, what do we know about motivation, guys? Out of these choices, what motivates you to do something? To satisfy your own needs, the opportunity to win a reward, a friend or group desire, or a worthy cause? I mean, there's no wrong answer on this one. This is just you. Give y'all a second to look at that. So our learning objectives are going to be, we're going to identify how individual performance within a team is influenced by the leader. And we're going to talk about the 6 tactics to motivate others. And our key words are complement and intangible. Skip. How are you motivated to complete a task or goal? Some people are motivated because they want to make sure they have higher grades. The better the grades, the better the college they'll get into, the better jobs they'll get eventually. Some people are motivated because they're afraid somebody's going to break a foot off in their butt, they're going to go off on them. Some people are motivated by fear, which is not how we should be leading. We do not lead by yelling at people, screaming at people, and telling them, do this or I'm going to do this to you. The idea is there. They know that they can get a counseling statement. But remember, you guys do not have the power to administer like push-ups. Okay, you guys can do counseling statements. Y'all can refer them to Colonel and myself if there's an issue. But you guys do not have the power to administer judgment or any type of punishment. Okay, that's not your lane. Your lane is to motivate them. The biggest way that I have seen to motivate people is to give them the big picture. You guys remember we talked about this your first year. We talked about the big picture. People will do more if they understand how their contribution affects the overall mission. rifle team, for instance. How does my coming to practice affect the rifle team? Well, if you come to practice, you get better. The better you get, the better you shoot, the better the rifle team is, the more events we get to go to, and we can go all the way up to nationals if everybody shoots well enough. Okay? So it's a teamwork thing. How does my little part of coming to practice affect the overall team? All right, I'm going to have you guys watch this next video, and then we will come right back.
Leaders must provide purpose and goals for the group. By selecting the best course of action to reach a goal, they provide purpose. By explaining the reasoning behind decisions and demonstrating their own enthusiasm for the task, they provide direction and assistance in accomplishing the goal. This direction should also include information on the required standards of performance. Leaders must realize that, although they are recognized as leaders because of their position, they will not be accepted until they earn the respect and confidence of the group by satisfying its needs. Successful leaders, therefore, must be more concerned with the well-being of their people than they are with themselves. They must go out of their way to give time, energy, and counsel to help their subordinates live up to their potential. By constantly showing this level of concern to their subordinates, these leaders receive a high degree of respect and loyalty from their subordinates, along with their desire to accomplish team goals. Although there is no simple formula for motivation, you can understand a basic view of what motivates people. Realizing that different people react to varying needs will allow you to arrive at appropriate decisions and actions in a particular situation. People are motivated by many forces: values, self-interest, kindness, worthy causes, and other forces. Some of these forces are internal, such as fears and beliefs, and some are external, such as danger, the environment, a chance for promotion, or pressures from a senior, subordinates, or one's family. Forces combine to determine what a person is motivated to do in a given situation. Because needs form the basis for actions, and leaders must motivate by understanding these needs, leaders must understand how needs drive individuals, people, or groups to action. Leaders must know their subordinates' capabilities, establish challenging goals within those capabilities, and employ them in accordance with those capabilities. Leaders can also build confidence by offering support, encouragement, and assistance.
Now, if you guys can remember all the way back to your freshman year when we defined leadership, the definition of leadership is to motivate subordinates to accomplish a mission by providing them with purpose, direction, and motivation. So how do I give them the purpose? I want them to know how their actions play into the larger picture. How do I give them direction? I let them know what they need to do. How do I give them motivation? I let them know that I have full faith in them that they can do it. They need to know exactly how to do it, or that you have the faith that they can do it, but you also have to give them the faith that they can perform it. When you guys work with the let ones and let twos, really, in drill, we all know they can do it. We just have to give them the time to figure out, hey, you need to rotate on the ball of your left foot and the heel of your right foot, or vice versa. You know, we sit down with them. We are patient with them. The second that we lose our cool, that we lose our, what we refer to as our military bearing, as soon as we overreact or get excited or blow up or whatever, we've lost that person. Okay. Some of you guys may have seen this when somebody starts and they get so exasperated that they just yell at the person, and we say things like, oh, how are you so stupid? How come you're not getting this? You're an idiot. Well, it's not that they're an idiot. It's just that you need to change the way you're teaching it to them. They don't have the confidence. Remember your first year when you're trying to do left faces and right faces and learning to march and everything else. Excuse me. it was totally different than where you are right now. Remember, these guys are going to be right where you were 3 years ago. Okay. In 3 years, they're going to be right here taking this class that they can teach the new let ones coming up then. Okay. So your homework assignment for tomorrow is exercise 1. It's in your notebook. And you guys will have to fill these out and you'll have to submit them to me because this is your grade. Each of these, motivational tactic, utilize both rewards and corrective actions as needed to motivate the team. Rewards are huge. People don't want to do something if they're not being recognized for it. Okay. And it doesn't necessarily have to be candy. And as a matter of fact, you're not supposed to be motivating using things like food anymore. Not in this day and age. But as much as a good, hey, good job, great job. Hey, Colonel Baker, this person did a great job on this today. Write them a counseling statement that says, man, you did fantastic doing this. Okay. Put them in for rewards. Put them in for awards. When Colonel Baker and I sit down at the end of the school year and we're looking for things like who to give awards to and stuff, you know, that's the kind of thing we want to know. Hey, did this cadet do what they needed to do? Did they do the bare minimum? Did they go above and beyond? Okay. Number 2, establish short-term goals or tasks for individuals and teams to reach. Give me an example of that. Short-term goals. Now, short-term goals are things in the near future. You remember every year we sit down and we do our short-term, our intermediate term, and our long-term goals. We do that because I want you guys to identify your long-term goals and the steps you need to get to that point, just like our SMART goals. Okay. Specific, measurable, attainable. Is it relevant to me? Is it time bound? That's what we're doing with our goals. So we're taking our long-term goals and we're breaking it down. We've got to do the same thing for our people. All right. I'll learn long-term goal. For instance, next year, our long-term goal, and this will be after you guys are gone, but it's still going to be a long-term goal for our ROTC program. We want to build the rifle team. You know, we're going to be losing 2 good shooters this year. So we want to make sure that they're replaced. Drill team. We're going to have to start off from square one. We're going to have to totally rebuild a drill team. This year, we're going to have an archery team and a robotics team. Our long-term goal is to get those established so that we all, including myself and Colonel Baker, know what we're doing so that we do it the right way from the get-go. Okay? So how do we do that? Establish short-term goals. I'll give you for instance, for me, archery team, short-term goal. My short-term goal is to have the company, the organization that certifies archery coaches to have the class so that I can be certified as the archery coach. Okay. That's a short to intermediate. Short-term goal right now is to get the equipment in and get it inventoried and get familiar with it. I got to get coach certified. Then I got to start getting people signed up, and then we got to start practicing. None of this is going to happen until about January right now, unless we hear otherwise from Cadet Command. So we have to set these goals in steps. Everything we want is going to be a step further to accomplishing our long-term goal. Okay, does that make sense? Number 3, set the example. This is where I was talking about for all team members, and this is anybody in battalion. Remember, I told you guys, first part of this video, you are the example that everybody is looking at. When you guys act up and do something that's not right, then the other people are going to think it's okay for them to not do it. All right. Give you, for instance, senior changes out of uniform at lunch, or let 4 changes out of uniform at lunch. Then they spend the rest of the day in their regular clothes. There's no reason. They just running around the school. They just didn't want to be in uniform all day because, I don't know, boyfriend or girlfriend, or they didn't want people to see them in it. Rather than be proud of their standing and their rank and everything they earned in that uniform, They've decided they just don't care. They're just in it for the grade. I'm done, right? How do you think that looks like to the let ones and twos? And bring this up on our Friday review, and we'll talk about that, because let's face it, you guys have all seen it. Y'all have seen people changing out for no apparent reason, or coming to school and then changing right before they come to ROTC. How do you think that looks to the let ones? Make tasks within the unit assignment challenging, cooperative, and helpful in building their capabilities. Remember, they have the skills, they just don't know it yet. It's going to be up to you guys to teach them the skills to march, to shoot, to be leaders. Okay? Create a healthy culture within the unit, one that promotes trust and respect as well as understanding and acceptance. This is a big one. You do not build trust and respect by yelling and screaming and cursing at people and making people quit ROTC because you're abusing them in the hallways or whatever. That is not what we are about. If you think that's what we are about and that's something you're doing, go ahead and email your counselor and quit next semester, because you're not coming back. All right? That is not a healthy culture. What I want you to do is to change yourself so that you're not doing those things. You don't have to. That's not how you lead. Talk to somebody, okay? Get them to trust you. Trust them. If somebody tells you a secret, unless it is something that involves them getting hurt physically, emotionally, psychologically, you keep that. Oh, I want to go out with somebody. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to tell anybody that. But if they tell you something that makes you concerned for their health and safety, yeah, you guys need to elevate that up. All right, bring that to Colonel and myself. Take it to a counselor. Create self-motivation. We do that by doing rank promotions and awards. If you guys look at yourself right now as let fours, and you are not a first sergeant, a commander, an XO, a staff position, and you're still in a squad leader or platoon sergeant position, you guys have not been self-motivating at all. You've been changing out of your uniform. All right. You just don't care. You're just in it for the easy A. In case you guys haven't figured it out this year, easy A's are not going to happen. All right. These worksheets and this classwork and stuff, you guys are going to have to work your tails off this year. All right. We still have our essays coming up. All right. So get this worksheet done tomorrow and send it in to me through your cadet portal. Next question. True or false? Rewarding team members who support unit tasks by giving them ribbons, medals, or certificates is effective because doing so satisfies social needs and serves as a motivator. Is this true or false? It's absolutely true. This is what we do in ROTC. We do ribbons and medals and certificates and scholarships and everything else that we can, not only for the social needs, so that other people can see, oh my gosh, that person just earned this. Oh, that's so cool. And then you walk around in your uniform with those nice little ribbons and medals and stuff. But it's a motivator. It makes them want to go out there and earn this medal or this ribbon and stuff. Okay? It's absolutely an easy way to motivate other people. And the more they're motivated, the more they're going to dedicate themselves to the program and what they need to do to be successful, not only in ROTC, but in life. Okay? Remember, our overall goal is to make you guys better citizens. I want you guys out there getting jobs, earning monies, being productive people, and not being deadbeats out there. You know, I want you guys to learn something from here that you can take into real life and be successful. If a leader must counsel subordinates for negative behaviors, when and where should that counseling take place? Counseling should take place instantly and in public so the subordinate will learn the lesson immediately. Wait a week and then counsel the subordinate in private. Counseling should take place as soon as possible in a small group setting, or it should take place as quickly as possible after the infraction, and it should take place in private to prevent public humiliation. I'll give you guys a second to come up with your answer. And the answer for this one is D. It should take place as quickly as possible. And it's not actually necessarily after an infraction. It's after they do something good too. But this is talking about for negative behaviors. All right. You should do it immediately while what they've done is still fresh in their mind. But you want to do it in private. Okay. You don't jump down their throats and tell them they messed up and everything else while there's a whole bunch of people around, especially if they are a leader. Because, for instance, I take a company commander and they mess something up. Okay. I don't dress them down in front of all their people. I take them to the side and I go, hey, look, this is where you messed up at. And then they can fix that. They can fix that behavior. But if you get onto them right in front of their formation, in front of their other cadets that look up to them, you've just demeaned them down. That means they're going to go back and the other student's going to look at them and go, oh, man, you messed up. And they're going to be humiliated. And once you're humiliated, you don't want to do anything like that anymore. You don't want to do anything for anybody anymore if they humiliate and demean you. And I see that a lot in a lot of our teams, in a couple of our teams. You'll see that where people just get down on people until they just get so upset that they quit. All right. I'm not going to put up with that at all from any of you seniors. Another name for a power down approach to authority is leading, motivating, delegating, or micromanaging. Okay. Yeah. Delegating. Okay. That is, you should not have to do everything yourself. You should be able to assign that job to somebody else to do. Okay. Colonel and I could lead these companies and teach all the drill and everything else, but we don't have to. We delegate that down to the let fours and the let threes that you guys, we've taught you guys, and the older let threes and let fours have taught you guys. So now we delegate down to you to teach the new cadets everything they need to know to be cadets. Their first things out the chute, first thing they want to know, what do I need to know? How do I get promoted? Wow, where did you get all these ribbons at? How do I put my uniform together? That's going to be all on you guys, okay? I will tell you that the new curriculum has changed and that the wear and the appearance of the uniform has been included into another class. They cut that class out and added it to something else. So these guys aren't going to get a whole lot of extra time. So that's where you guys are going to have to get them together. Now, we will not be doing uniforms for let ones this year because I can't bring them in. Now, when we do come back to school, then yes, they'll all be getting uniforms. And I'm really going to rely on you guys making sure they get their stuff together. All right. So how does your motivation relate to leading others? Here's the Army's leadership model. And look at the motivation tactics you guys just went through, okay? Let's look at some of these. Character. Remember the 7 Army values. Empathy. Feel in somebody else's, how they feel, okay? Discipline, the warrior ethos, military and professional bearing. Remember what I said. If you lose your cool, you have lost your military bearing. Your fitness, your confidence. If you're not confident, they're not going to want to follow you. Resilience. Can I bounce back? Can I adapt to something that changes? Okay, so we're outside doing drill one day and it starts to rain. How am I going to adapt to that? Well, what's your suggestions? Maybe go in the range, go into the classroom, break out into small groups, squad leaders take charge. All of those are good working ideas, but can you come up with that quick? Intellect, mental agility. Are you making good judgment? Are you innovative? I will be the first to admit that the way I teach is not the 100% be all, cure all, know all, do all. I rely on you guys, and this is what I'm going to do on Friday review days. I'm going to be relying on you guys to explain things to each other once you understand it. Because if one of your people doesn't understand me the way I put it, maybe they'll understand one of you guys better. Okay. You want to look at how that person leads, how they lead others, or how you lead others. Sorry. Do you build their trust? Do people trust you? Can you extend your influence beyond the chain of command? Lead by example, communicates. One big rule in the military and in a lot of workplaces is if you are a leader, you cannot date your subordinate. And the reason is because that gives them anytime good that they may have done, it may look like you gave them preferential treatment. Okay, you treated them special because you're dating them. We can't do that. Can you develop a positive environment, that esprit de corps? Are people happy to come here? Are they motivated? Are they preparing themselves? Do you develop others? Are you a good steward of the profession? Are you a good example to people who aren't in ROTC of what ROTC is? This is huge. A lot of people out in the environment don't understand what ROTC is. Okay. So they are looking at you as an example. When they come up to you and go, hey man, why are you in uniform? Why are you do that? Well, because this is the right thing to do. I enjoy ROTC. I want to be here. It's a good class. All right. Can you achieve and get results? I certainly hope so. Scroll through these guys. So where do your leadership principles and motivational principles and overlap in your flow map, Skip? How you have used motivation tactics and how you might improve on their use. All right. This is your apply. This is what I want down in the comment section. I want you to tell me a time or email to me. I'd prefer it emailed to me. I can get better accountability that way. Tell me a time that you have used motivation and how it might have improved somebody else's feelings about ROTC or the team or whatever you were working on. Here, see, we are at about 30 minutes now. So that's what we're going to do. I want you guys to write a paragraph, assignment time, about what you have done to motivate another cadet and send that to me in an email and how you think it made them feel. I want to know how you did it in a positive way, not the way where it made them feel bad. Compliment. What is compliment? Compliment is to complete, not a compliment like, oh, you look nice today. I'm talking about complimenting somebody else. You complete their look, their move. You work well together. Okay? What is intangible? To complete, to relieve, to form an opinion without knowing or in spite of the facts, that which has a value not dependent on physical makeup. Yes, intangible is there's nothing physical to it. We're talking about your esprit de corps, your motivation, your self-worth, those things that you can't actually put your hands on, but they feel good about themselves. It helps people feel good about themselves, feel good about you. And our last slide, how will I motivate my teammates? Hopefully we've been able to answer this today. Remember, positive reinforcement. Tell them you did a great job. Get them out there. Getting them to show off. Somebody does something right, go, hey guys, check this out. Such and such is doing a great job. Look at him. And they're going to feel proud about themselves. That's that intangible, that self-worth. Okay? All right. So remember, tomorrow's assignment, do that worksheet. The exercise number 1, get that turned in to me.